Mechagodzilla. With a total of 5 different incarnations, Godzilla vs. Kong has the most recent take on Godzilla's mechanical doppelganger. With his wide range of weaponry, paired with his speed and agility, he was shown to easily overpower Godzilla and Kong. But was Godzilla specifically at a disadvantage? The answer to that question is yes, which is why I'm here to discuss, would a 100% powered Godzilla be able to kill Mechagodzilla? It's no secret that despite Godzilla merely toying with Kong, he exhausted a lot of his atomic energy. The fight lasted throughout the night between the two kaiju. After Godzilla had his ego hurt that Kong was able to deal some damage, he then ended the fight effortlessly, proving the ape that he was no match. Due to Godzilla's massive ego, he almost paid the price of death, as he was under 50% power, if not less, of his total power when fighting Mechagodzilla. We can see that when Godzilla charges up his atomic breath before entering a beam lock with Mechagodzilla, we can see it's far less vibrant, unlike in King of the Monsters and against Kong in Hong Kong, as it resembles more of what we see in Godzilla 2014. An interview with Adam Wingard provides further comment with, quote, "He's been created to perfectly take on Godzilla. Maybe that doesn't necessarily mean that he's stronger than Godzilla, but he's able to be one step ahead. You also have to consider the fact that Godzilla has just gone through 3 rounds with Kong, where he exercises nuclear breath to its absolute core, so he's pretty worn down at this point. There's one shot where Godzilla and Mechagodzilla fire their beams at each other at the same time, and Mechagodzilla actually overpowers Godzilla, and I don't think that this would have been the case if Godzilla's coming in fresh. But I think that he was weakened a bit. Ultimately, it's heavily implied that Godzilla was far from fresh, and that definitely makes a difference. We can also add to this fact, as said in the comic Godzilla Dominion.
In the comic is Godzilla, they state it many times, is basically near death at this point. He's been fighting for 2 years straight, constantly. We know this also from King of the Monsters after credits. He's constantly busy. He never gets to sleep. He's never gotten to recover with his near-death battle with King Ghidorah. He's starving, and like I said, he's just fixing the world, fighting titans, all that.
Now that we've addressed the reasoning behind Godzilla's poor performance in this fight, let's take the scenario where Godzilla is completely fresh and jump straight into the battle analysis. First up is size. Godzilla, standing at 119 meters and weighing 99,634 tons, he's one of the heaviest in the monsters, only being behind Ghidorah and Muta Prime. Mechagodzilla, while this may seem unrealistic in comparison to other kaiju, comes in at a similar height of 122 meters, but weighs an insane 600,000 tons. While many originally thought this was a typo, this was dismissed, as this information is licensed by Toho in collaboration with Easy Hobby on their little guidebook, file book, Titanus Gojira, that came with one of their many Shin Godzilla statues. Mechagodzilla, by a long shot, easily takes size. Strength. Mechagodzilla, despite not living very long, has some very impressive feats of strength. He was able to lift Kong, who weighs 90,000 tons, and throw him off of him with ease. He was able to drag Godzilla with almost no difficulty with the aid of the added momentum the rocket boosters provided. Unfortunately for Mechagodzilla, that's all we really have of him. For Godzilla, he was able to throw around Ghidorah, who weighs 141,000 tons, quite efficiently. He was able to lift and carry the Muta Prime, who weighs 135,000 tons. He was able to throw Kong, who weighs 90,000 tons, hundreds if not 1,000 meters with only his jaw. While these may seem impressive, which they are, it's nothing compared to what I'm about to bring up. As we've mentioned, Godzilla wasn't anywhere near being fully powered, as he had played with Kong and let his ego get in the way, which caused him to exhaust a large portion of his energy. Mechagodzilla is 600,000 tons, and when they initially charged at each other, despite being at this heavily weakened state and being pummeled with missiles, he actually overpowered overpowers Mechagodzilla and is shown to blow back Mechagodzilla. While it may not seem like much, being in a severely weakened state against a hollow earth charged Mechagodzilla who weighs 600,000 tons and winning the initial confrontation, that easily grants Godzilla the edge in overall strength. Next is durability. Mechagodzilla was able to take multiple strikes of Kong's dull axe, which merely caused sparks to fly. Yeah, that's about it. Godzilla, on the other hand, has much more to go off of. Firstly, he was able to take several Muto Prime punches without too much struggle. These punches of Muto Prime have the strength to literally move tectonic plates. Godzilla was also able to take all of Ghidorah's gravity beams and merely just get pushed back. He was able to survive being dropped from the stratosphere. The Permian extinction asteroid, which almost destroyed the entire planet, Godzilla survived without even flinching. He isn't burned by nuclear bombs, which burn at around 100 million degrees Celsius. On top of all this, what seals the deal for Godzilla's durability being leagues better than Mecha's is that when we compare what diced up Mecha, the axe was charged up by a sub 50% powered Godzilla's atomic breath for only a couple seconds. The fact that this sliced Mechagodzilla up is honestly quite pathetic. Compare this to the axe that had been charging for hours in the hollow earth and absorbed Godzilla's atomic breath at a much more powerful state. It barely dug into Godzilla's left thigh. Not to mention, when at its maximum energy, it only knocked Godzilla out for a couple seconds, despite making contact with his head, which didn't even pierce his skin. This honestly shouldn't even be a question, and Godzilla easily takes durability. Ranged weaponry. Godzilla's only source of ranged weaponry is his atomic breath. Despite it being his only ranged weapon, it is extremely powerful, being able to drill almost halfway through the entire Earth and leave visible burns on Ghidorah, who, keep in mind, has durability on par with Godzilla. His severely weakened atomic breath was able to actually compete with Mechagodzilla's proton scream until Mecha had to insert more energy to overpower it. Mechagodzilla comes with his own version of Godzilla's atomic breath with the A-74 proton scream. The issue when determining its strength comes with the fact that it has an energy yield of 4.10 times 1080, which ends up equaling more energy than the observable universe, so whenever Mechagodzilla fires this proton scream, it should not only one-shot Godzilla, but blow up the entire Earth. Clearly, this was a typo. What we do have is some statements. Adam Wingard clarified that Godzilla was at this heavily weakened state and would end up winning a beam clash with Mechagodzilla. It was able to stalemate Godzilla's weakened atomic breath before having to have more energy added to overpower it. While Godzilla's atomic breath may be stronger by a large amount, Mechagodzilla's ranged weaponry doesn't only consist of the proton scream. He has salvos filled with missiles in his shoulders and chest. While we've obviously seen that missiles are far from effective against Godzilla, they are shown to blow him back when used at close range. Though they did absolutely nothing in stopping his advance towards Mecha, they would still be viable in a fight, making ranged weaponry a stalemate, giving a point to both sides. Speed and agility. While Godzilla has shown his agile nature and tremendous speed, being as fast as Mechagodzilla, Mecha's addition of rocket-propelled boosters gives him the significant edge, being able to sidestep the Big G and providing him with an additional amount of speed and momentum. With the addition of these rocket boosters, Mechagodzilla takes both speed and agility. Overall intelligence and battle intelligence. The Monsterverse iteration of Godzilla is definitely a contender for the smartest Godzilla, showing that he's aware at all times and knows how to control other titans. He's far from the animalistic nature shown in the Heisei era. He's able to learn mid-fight and adjust. After repeated flanks by the male Muto, he's able to anticipate its attack and punish with a tail whip, killing it. In his fight against Kong, he adapted to Kong's agility and went on all fours, easily dominating the fight and ending it quickly. Besides being able to adjust in battle and be smarter than most Godzillas, that's basically it. Mechagodzilla, on the other hand, has a built-in supercomputer constantly plugging in algorithms and adapting to Goji's fighting style. On top of this, he has the mind of Ghidorah, and while this is specifically Kevin, the heads are all connected telepathically, which is basically all three heads being present to battle Godzilla. While Godzilla is definitely smart and is shown to exploit weaknesses and adapt, Mechagodzilla has not only Ghidorah, who's fought Godzilla before, but an entire supercomputer constantly analyzing and adapting, giving Mechagodzilla the edge in intelligence and a stalemate in battle intelligence. Experience. This very easily goes to Godzilla. While Ghidorah is the one piloting the mech, Ghidorah has far from as much experience as Godzilla. Ghidorah has fought Godzilla and Mothra. That's it. Well, from what we know. Godzilla has fought the male Muto, female Muto, Muto Prime, Shinamura, Tiamat, Ghidorah, Scylla, the Ion Dragon, Mechagodzilla, Kong, and potentially other Kongs in the Ancient Titan War. Experience, without a doubt, goes to Godzilla. Regeneration. Mechagodzilla legit can regenerate. He can be rebuilt, but if he's damaged mid-battle, forget it. The damage is done. Godzilla, on the other hand, can regenerate. While this regeneration may be slow, it's better than none. Considering Mecha is charged by Hollow Earth energy, Godzilla could definitely feed off of this and regenerate at a faster rate. This is due to Godzilla regenerating at a much faster pace when near radiation. With all the points tallied up, Mechagodzilla takes size, speed, agility, and intelligence. Godzilla takes strength, durability, experience, and regeneration. They both are at equilibrium at ranged weaponry and battle intelligence. With a final score of 5-5, just like with Godzilla and Ghidorah, we have a tie. Despite this tie, our victor is easily Godzilla, and here's why. When putting Godzilla against Ghidorah, Godzilla won some categories, barely, with Ghidorah rifling Godzilla in categories such as durability. Mechagodzilla, on the contrary, stalls in durability and strength in comparison to the Big G, which are the two main factors in a fight. He is at such a disadvantage in strength and durability that if Godzilla even got a hold of him in a state similar to fighting Kong, Mecha would arguably get one shot. Let me reiterate on some of the points. As I mentioned earlier, Kong's axe, which had been charging for hours in the Hollow Earth and that had absorbed Godzilla's atomic breath, barely left a dent in Godzilla's left thigh. Not to mention, when at maximum energy, when it made contact with his head, it didn't even pierce Godzilla's hide. Mechagodzilla, on the other hand, was dismembered effortlessly by an axe charged by a single firing of Godzilla's weakened atomic breath. This atomic breath usage was so much less powerful than when he fought Kong, as seen by the less concentrated effect, more like a flame, and the vibrancy of his dorsal plates. Moving on, Godzilla in this extremely weakened state pushed back Mechagodzilla, who weighs a whopping 600,000 tons. This scenario can be compared to Godzilla against Kong. Kong was the smarter of the two, while being faster and more agile. But there's only so much intelligence and agility can do. Just as we saw, once Godzilla actually got a hold of Kong instead of having fun, Kong was defeated in minutes. While this battle seemed closer than what some may think, Godzilla at 100% power would easily defeat his mechanical counterpart with around at most mid-difficulty. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing and dropping a like. I'm ecstatic to see people enjoy my Ghidorah vs Godzilla video, and I'm happy to make more content like this. If you'd like to see me cover more battles, leave some suggestions in the comments. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed yet another battle analysis, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
I created a monster, cause nobody wants to see monster no more. They want shady, I'm top liver. Well, if you want shady, this is what I